welcome back. You look great. Thanks
you.
for coming back. Last time we were here, we were celebrating. You had a 4-month-old
Yes.
baby. Now the baby's 3, yeah?
She is a 3-year-old
Oh, my
wild beast.
Wild
feral
beast,
creature.
yeah.
I was asking you before if your daughters were totally insane as toddlers, and you were like, no, they've always been great. Because my son was always just like sweet and calm and well-behaved, and my daughter is a feral creature.
Yeah. I wish I could lie to you and tell you that.
I know. Well, I would keep asking because I'm like, is this just how girls are? But she is. She likes to scream at me. I'll be like, you got to eat the pouch before you can have ice cream, because vegetables. And the pouch with the vegetables, because she won't eat.
I know exactly
a
what you're talking
vegetable.
about. Yes, the
You know,
pouch. Yes.
You got to put it in the pouch, and she'll be like, no, never. She loves to yell, no, never.
That's so
at
cute.
us. She calls me Christina. She also calls me Mom. You know, it's a mix of Mommy and Christina, but she'll say, she'll be like, ice and water, Christina, please. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I get her ice and water, and she's like, thank you, Christina.
Oh, my God.
I'm always like,
really funny.
You're welcome, Cleo.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Christina.
And you can't, you can't just kiss her and squeeze her. I have a lot of respect for her now. Yeah. I mean, I always did. They're children. You respect them. You know.
Yeah.
But I've developed quite a lot of respect for her, because you can't just kiss her. You have to ask her, like, hey, Cleo, is it okay if I kiss you? And she'll go, no. And then she might think about it for a second, and she'll be like, and I'm like, oh, forehead kiss. Awesome. Thank you. And she does, she calls me Christina, and it's kind of hilarious because this happens often, but one example of it, she was in her bed in the middle of the night, and the monitor's on, obviously, and I'm listening to ocean sounds all night long.
Yep.
The ocean sounds.
Lullabies, sure.
Yeah. And then I hear, Mama, Mama, Daddy. And then she calls her nanny, Becca. And then it's all quiet. And so I believe I fell asleep. And then I hear, Christina! And I was like, oh my God.
Right there, yes, right here, yes, right here. What would you need? Yes.
I felt like I was being screamed at. I was in Mommy Dearest all of a sudden. And I ran to the room, fell over, but also was laughing hysterically.
That's the best. She's so cute. Congratulations.
She's funny.
Yeah, she's great.
Funny, and she's wild. She likes to pretend she's a monster and scream at us. My 10-year-old son will try to play with her, and he always ends up with a black eye because she hits him in the face with a wooden block.
And they don't know really what you do yet, or do they know Wednesday at all or anything? Or
Cleo does not. Freddie knows. When in the beginning it started with we'd be out in public, and because I've been in movies that people grew up with, people feel very affectionate with me, and I get a lot of hugs. Yeah. So when I was young, he would say to me, why are people always hugging you? And I had to explain to him, I was like, I was in these movies, and people feel really sentimental about it. And then I did show him Casper way too young, which was a mistake.
Is there things in Casper that...
No. Casper's totally safe for children. Yeah. But I showed him when he was 2.5, 3, and he loved it. And then I was driving him to preschool one day, and he was like, oh, Mom, I told my teachers about your childhood. And I was like, that I was famous?
Oh, my gosh.
That I was famous. And he's like, no, that you lived in that house with your dad and all those ghosts. And I was just like, okay.
Documentary.
So developmentally,
good kid.
It was too soon.
Smart kid. You put 2 and 2 together, you go, that's Mama's childhood. They just document their lives.
Yeah. So I've learned now, we're going to wait a little bit for Cleo. But she does love monsters and ghosts, so I'm really excited to show it to her.
Yeah. I will say, since we've seen you, you're great in Wednesday. And Jenna Ortega is now Wednesday.
She's so amazing.
She's amazing.
Jenna is amazing.
Jenna Ortega is great in Wednesday, but you're in Wednesday.
Yes.
But you were Wednesday in my brain. Yeah. So it's like, wow, it must be wild for you to jump back into that world with Tim Burton.
I guess so, except for that it's such a different incarnation, and other actresses played Wednesday before me.
Yeah, that's true.
And since.
Yes.
And
I guess so, you're right.
I guess for me, I really love that character, Wednesday, because I think that character is so important. It's a person that refuses, especially for little girls, refuses to acquiesce to the pressures of society, refuses to like smile when someone says smile, you know, and I think that stuff is so important.
Yeah, that's
So
right, yeah.
I'm really happy that that it was so popular and the show did so well, and that really shows like, you know, enough people are seeing this representation to help, you know?
And did Tim just go like, hey, we gotta get you back on board. Come on, bud.
Well, apparently they wanted me to play the part when they first started shooting, but I was in Yellow Jackets and very pregnant. So they couldn't get me there. And then something happened with the original cast member, and so they had to rewrite the part and change it. And then I happened to be 1 month away from having my child, and they were like, sweet, so you'll have the child and you'll come out here right in 8 weeks after. And I
Show
was like,
business.
I'm there.
Let's go. I'm in, man.
We
You called the right person.
Yeah.
I'm a pro.
Yeah. We landed in Romania.
Christina! Christina!
Christina!
Christina! We need you!
Yes.
Let's talk about season 3 of Yellow Jackets.
Good.
Man, I told you before, it is so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is frightening. It is awesome. Let's see. Here's some headlines about the show. This new Yellow Jackets season 3 trailer has me screaming at the top of my lungs. Yellow Jackets is getting increasingly insane, creepy in the first trailer for season 3. Yellow Jackets season 3 trailer just dropped, and it looks like the mystery thriller's wildest chapter yet.
I think it is gonna be. It's really crazy.
You're really, you have an amazing character, but you dive into it, and I don't know what your character's gonna do. You can do anything.
Well, and I don't either, because they tell me like a week before. So.
You're so good. You surprise me. I'm like, oh, I love seeing you, because like she could just
It is really fun.
hack something off, or I don't know what's gonna happen.
I have to say, I love playing her because she does all the things, like I put into her all the things that I can't do normally because I understand societal rules. So like all the faces she makes are things that I internally make when I'm in a conversation, or like her reactions or her enthusiasm about stuff that's not appropriate.
Interesting.
So I will just like at this point, I'm just like, I'm gonna make this really super wild choice and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And like, it's always fine. And that's a really great feeling.
If I can set it up, if anyone hasn't seen Yellow Jackets, jump right in. It's fantastic. It's basically a girls' soccer team
Yes.
that are flying to a game, and the plane goes down and goes missing, and then no one knows.
In 1996, there's no cell phones.
So there's no cell phones.
My
nothing.
character as a young person destroys the black box, so they're definitely not being rescued.
So no one's rescuing them. Then eventually they do. They survive. Some of them survive.
Some of us, or
And then-
obviously we
yeah.
get rescued because we're there. And we're
And
40.
then you get to have flashbacks of what actually went down while they were in the woods.
It's really like the show is about PTSD and trauma, and how, you know, it's a metaphor for how your past haunts your future.
What a crazy! Because when you think it's yes.
And it's really fun because we're a bunch of 40-year-old women, totally unhinged, like doing things where you're like, oh, please don't do that. You have children.
Yes.
I don't, my character, but whatever.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I think that all of us in the older cast have an amazing time sort of living out and expressing our female rage and all of that stuff.
It's a great cast. It's well written. It's well done. It keeps every episode keeps you guessing for the next thing. I want to show. Here's a clip of Christina Ricci in season 3 of Yellow Jackets. Take a look at this.
Can I get you something?
Well, I'm not here to do my taxes. It's not your tax season. I need a drink.
What kind?
Espresso Wait. Scratch that. I have a whiskey. Straight up. I mean, you can do your taxes early, but not this early, right?
Yeah, come on. Christina Ricci, everybody. Yellow Jackets season 3 premieres February 14th on Paramount Plus with Showtime. More Tonight Show after the break. Stick around, everybody.